hot damn. Or maybe not so hot damn, as this new Warbond has got a distinctly icy theme to it despite the levels of spice Arrowhead are blessing us Helldivers with once again. In this new Warbond, we've got 3 new primaries, a new secondary, 3 new armors, a booster, grenade, and of course, a number of cosmetic additions. Other than Larian Studios and Baldur's Gate 3, I don't think there's a dev team on the planet right now that can hold a flame to Arrowhead in terms of their level of dedication when it comes to consistent patches and new content being added to their game, even if the patches don't always fix things. We're only 3 months in as this Warbond drops, and we're seeing a masterclass on how to deliver a live surface game, and it's time AAA studios start taking notes. Is what I had initially written down in the script, but that was before the shitstorm surrounding the PSN requirements and the review bombing. I openly spoke out about this behavior on stream, saying that review bombing is dumb and it's hurting Arrowhead as the small development team instead of Sony, who are the ones enforcing the requirement. And whilst I still think review bombing is dumb, maybe I'm wrong, as Sony have since backed down on the requirement, which would have left hundreds of thousands of players unable to access the game without a PS4 or 5. I guess well done to the community, but please leave sweet Arrowhead alone. By the time I take my head out of the Swedes behind, and let's get to the source of this new Warbond. Kicking things off, what I'm sure most people are here for are the 3 new primaries that just dropped today. We've got the AR-61 Tenderizer, the SMG-72 Pummeler, and the new Plaz 101 Purifier. Starting with the AR-61 Tenderizer, it's listed as a high caliber assault rifle, although I'm not really sure I would agree. It's got light armor penetration and actually has some really good recoil control. With 35 in the mag, 10 mags total, and a decent fire rate, it honestly just looks like a much better version of the Adjudicator from the Democratic Detonation Warbond. Whilst I love hip firing a stalwart into a crowd, I'm also a huge fan of heavy hitting single target weapons, rewarding trigger discipline and control, so I'm excited to test this one out more in the field. Next up, we have the second, technically third SMG added to the game. I say second because not everyone bought the supporters edition of the game and might not have access to the Knight SMG, but I'm super happy to see a new SMG make its way onto the scene. I think the Defender actually gets slept on a lot, and with the SMGs being one-handed, they're clutch on SSD missions and when paired with the heavily slept on ballistic shield. Face tanking a ton of damage whilst advancing the line never gets old, and I'm hyped to do it with something new. It looks to do a tiny bit less damage than the Defender and also has a slightly slower fire rate, but does have the same 45 mag capacity with 7 mags total, and it does boast the concussive round special trait, which just might make it one of the new meta weapons when it comes to crowd control. Paired with a riot shield, I think this weapon could be really special for taking space and advancing on automaton facilities. Finally, on the primaries, we've got the Plaz 101 Purifier. This is an energy-based DMR weapon with a charge up much like the railgun, but obviously not hitting quite as hard. With the recent nerfs to the explosive damage to the automaton striders, I can't help but think that was done with this weapon in mind, as the explosive damage and radius seem a fair bit more substantial than the Scorcher, obviously with the trade-off that you have to charge it up. It has 15 shots per magazine and a total of 6 mags. Interestingly, the Polar Patriots blog post also talks about holding your nerve to charge the weapon up longer. This is for good reason, as although you can fire this weapon decently fast, the longer you hold the trigger, the more damage it does, which is a really cool mechanic. Personally, I'm not always the biggest fan of charge up weapons, especially when considering the aim punch you get while fighting the bots, and I don't have the medals for it yet, but I really wanted to get this video out. Although from what I hear, it's actually a little bit lackluster, and the Scorcher is the better of the 2 options at the moment. Once I get it, I'll do some more testing and I'll let you know my thoughts. Now onto the new secondary, it's a Deagle. It's a Helldivers Desert Eagle, which I'm not complaining about one bit. It's called the P113 Verdict, and stat-wise, it seems to hit almost as hard as the Senator does, with a slightly larger mag size and the typical 4 mag reload rather than the individual bullets and the speed loader that the Senator has. It has 10 bullets per mag and a total of 8 mags. I honestly don't know which of the 2 I like most, as I'm a sucker for heavy hitting pistols. Let me know which one you like more in the comments. Next to the weapons, we also saw the addition of 3 new armor sets, 1 light and 2 heavy. Looking first at the light armor, the Arctic Ranger, this is actually the first blue armor set that we've seen in the game, and it looks very much like it came straight out of Endor. Honestly, I'm a little disappointed here, as the stats are nothing all that special and there is no new armor perks coming with this Warbond at all. The armor set does look really cool, but has the same scout perk, which I just find so boring. Next, onto the Winter Warrior heavy set. We've got a very icy white aesthetic and these spiked snow boots, which look really dope. Stat wise, again, nothing crazy special, and we actually actually see a repeat of the servo-assisted perk, which I'd actually been sleeping on and have a newfound respect for, but just a little sad to see that it's nothing new. And finally on the armor sets, we have the heavy Kodiak set. From the trailer, it actually looked a little more off-white, but we've got this really cool Arctic camo set and again the spiked snow boots, which I really enjoy. Once again, fairly typical stats and has the very boring fortified perk, which I'm sad to report. What I really wish Arrowhead would do with the armor is add in some new mechanic to them to help differentiate them further, as I think there's already too many shared perks in the game as it is. At the very least, it would have been really cool to see some perk aiding movement in rough terrain given the snow boots, but who knows, maybe we'll actually start getting some new perks to their helmets rather than them being purely aesthetic. We've also got a new grenade dropping today in the form of the Incendiary Impact Grenade. This does exactly what you would expect it to do, combining both the impact and the incendiary grenades into one. I much prefer this over the typical incendiary grenade, as the direct impact is so much more immediate and the crowd control of the fire seems to be set down just that much faster. And finally, on the game-changing features, we've got the new motivational shocks booster. From the in-game description and the Polar Patriots blog post, it says that it literally shocks the Helldivers back into action after being hit and slowed by sneaky, unjust attacks. To me, this sounds like a fairly hard counter to the slow received by these little sycophants of Satan and from the bile and nursing spirits. It doesn't look like this affects the slows from EMS strikes, but I'm super hyped to give this one a go and show them hunters that they can't take my lunch money anymore. Of course, we also have a new set of banners and capes, which I don't really care all that much for, but we do also have a bunch of new fun emotes and victory poses, which I do actually love to see. But that's it from the Warbond. What do you make of it? Let me know in the comments below. I'm excited to see what this month brings, as we've seen some new leaks in terms of the new enemy types for existing factions and hints at a possible new faction altogether coming pretty soon. Drop a like and sub if you've enjoyed or found this helpful, and to stay up to date with the latest Helldivers 2 news. If I missed anything, let me know down below, or come hop into a live stream sometime. I'm BigWynter on all platforms. Thank you so much for watching and your support. Take care and much love.